Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, students, friends and family, welcome to episode 93 of the Teacher Emilio podcast. I'm your host Emilio, and today we'll talk a bit about, well, you guessed it, Killing the Dragon Part 2. I thought of this title because it's basically like coming back into the podcast, back with another video, but more so than that is because I just recently took again the Japanese proficiency test, and well, look, I'll talk in detail with the whole exam and all that maybe a bit later on. But again, this title is also as a way of saying thank you for those of you who have been checking up on me, or even just people that have been following the podcast, because one of the things that I said in previous episodes, this would be probably, I'm gonna say 3-4 episodes ago, when I talked about Akira Toriyama passing away, that because of this exam I had to shuffle and change things a little bit, and one of those things was this, right? Basically doing less videos so that I could have more time to study in the hopes of, or with the whole purpose of, passing this proficiency test. And I would love to come here and just bring you the good news that I felt amazing and that I crushed the exam and everything. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And it's just because these exams are so tough that even if I did well, I mean, obviously you get a bit of a feeling, right? So in a lot of sections I felt good, but at the same time, I think my problem was, let's say, underestimating how hard the test would be. So because that happened to me in the past, now I think I go with a more, what's a good way to put it, humbled approach to taking these exams, rather than thinking, oh yeah, I got this. It's more like, oh, it was tough, let's see what happens. And to make things even worse, the biggest challenge was that even though I felt amazing in a lot of sections, I noticed something when I had about 40 minutes left, and it is that I had 2 pages together. So in this test, there is the reading section where you've got obviously like a lot of passages. There were 2 pages together, and I basically, when I flipped the page, I was so into the test that I didn't notice that. When I noticed that I had skipped those 2 pages and I opened them, boom, that's when it really hit me, because I had like 6-7 questions of grammar on both pages. So it was a bit of a punch in the face or a slap during the test. But again, let's see. The worst thing about this test is that I have to wait like 2 to 3 months. So I thought I wish I could just play, not stop, fast forward and then just get the result. That anxiety. But I mean, there's nothing I can do other than waiting. And I thought Killing the Dragon Part 2, because I had to, again, put a lot of time and effort into reviewing grammar, improving vocabulary, increasing my understanding of Japanese to face this test. And I'm really happy in the sense that without knowing the result, I felt way more comfortable. It was still an exam, I was still nervous, it was tough, don't get me wrong, but at least I have this reassurance of, okay, there is a good chance that, I hope at least, that even if I failed, that I did better than in the previous time. And if that is true, that would mean that by improving your grammar and by improving your vocabulary, you are increasing your chances of doing well. So yeah, Killing the Dragon Part 2. As I said before, this is also a chance to say thank you, because as I said, some students have been in touch, and I know, like I get, updates when it comes to the podcast and people watching or listening, and I appreciate your support, even though the uploads, or let's say the consistency, hasn't been as it used to be. And thank you for understanding. I've had students that I've met in class, or people just maybe messaging me on social media saying, I hope the test preparation is going well. And that's crazy. That's the beauty of the internet. So thank you so much. I am really happy. I mean, I'm also, stressed in terms of the exam, but I'm very happy to be able to receive those messages, that support. And I'm also really excited because I really missed doing this. I think it is a different way to connect, but more so than that, it is just, I don't know, the podcast has got something that I really enjoy, and I hope you enjoy it as well. And the last reason why I thought it would be cool to bring up this title again is because there are times when, I don't know if this has happened to you, but you make a post or you put something on the internet and you just never know what's gonna happen. And you don't know how people will take it. So when I first did Killing the Dragon, I thought it was gonna be probably not the best episode, in the sense that maybe the title wasn't that good, and all those things that sometimes we think about, all those little details. But it was crazy when I had a former student telling me, well, actually, not just any former student, it was Laura. And, I recorded my last episode with her. And it's funny because she told me, I'm getting ready to kill the dragon, or something along those lines, or I am killing the dragon. So this student, basically used that phrase, and I thought that was crazy cool. So yeah, anyways, a few things happened, and I already told you about this mistake. But, in this time, in these few months, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that it is now July. See, the year is going so fast. We're gonna blink and boom, then it's Christmas, right? So I think now that, so much time has passed, we are halfway through 2024. I think that it's just crazy that, the time goes so fast. But putting that on the side, something that I've, let's say, come to this realization is like this Zen moment of me telling you guys, or just sharing with you, that there has to be balance. I noticed that earlier in the year because, yes, it is good to study and, do all the things, all your projects, but at the same time, there has to be some balance. I noticed that I was gaining a bit of weight. I wasn't exercising as much. So a few months ago, this would be like maybe 2 to 2.5 months ago, I then joined gym again. I have a gym close by to where I live, and it was great. It was great going back to the gym and having, let's say, more of that exercise, for example, just to name one thing. And the same thing has happened now, because even though I'm doing less of the podcast, a part of me was like, I want to do more. I would love to film more interviews. I would love to come back. I would love to talk to you guys. I would love to share some of the things that I have learned with you. And this is probably one of those that, it is, and this is coming from someone who loves chasing his goals and dreams. But I think it is important to have balance too, because there were some days when I wouldn't say going crazy, but a part of me was like, I just don't want to do anything. Or when I say don't want to do anything, let me just change that. I think it is closer to like the burnout effect of you do so much something and then it's like your brain just doesn't work as it should, if that's even a thing. But I remember having hours and hours of studying one day, and then it's like I just look at Japanese and it's all blurry. Or a part of me is like, no, maybe I have to do something else. And with all that said, you also need to be able to push through. So I think this is where balance comes in. This also reminds me of the phrase that Karen mentioned in our interview, because it was about being your own cheerleader, and also from seeing, for example, Nestoring doing the Ultraman race. And it is that, something interesting was said to me by, a professional athlete, was that at the end of the day, the race day is great, but no one sees you when you're going through the struggle. And let me just put this into context. So let's say, for example, right now we have a race coming up called Run Melbourne. So I'm planning, and I will do the half marathon. And there are times when I don't feel like running, but I still go out and run. And, I'm doing this mostly, let's say, on my own, checking with Nestoring every now and then, not too much. And, a part of me goes thinking, okay, why, not even why am I doing this, but there are times when if I don't feel like, let's say, training, okay, but if I don't train, this maybe I could get an injury in the race, or I don't get someone next to me, or a group tell me, oh, go and run, da. And in the same note, but in a slightly different manner, the same thing happens with the test. This is more of this Japanese exam, right? It's more a personal goal, and you will see people supporting you. That's amazing. You have to be grateful for that, but you also have to be disciplined enough, because I'm gonna go and say maybe about 70% of the time, sometimes it's just you and you, or you versus you, if that's even a thing. Because, I mean, I remember when I was sitting the test, there would be like kanjis, symbols that I would see. And a part of me is like, oh, good, I know this word. And I can come up to you and say, oh, yes, look, I felt more comfortable. I read much more. But it's not just because I am amazing or anything. No, it's because I spent hours and hours and hours putting in that time. But as I'm telling you that, remember, it's also good to have balance. And I guess this is also where I have to say, if you're thinking of passing IELTS and PT and you need a bit of help, and how I'm talking about preparing for a race on your own, preparing for a test on your own, look, trust me, this is a bit different because this is more a personal thing. This is not something that, it's involved with getting my visa or extending my stay in Australia, or who knows, a PR, or maybe even studying into uni. And it can get pretty stressful, let me tell you. I almost had a heart attack yesterday in the exam. But putting that on the side, it would be great, or it would be amazing to, have that support of someone that I could talk to, that I could, check, get extra help, let alone, of course, go to class. And in this case, it is a bit tricky for me to do that when it comes to my Japanese learning. And I guess it is also like me experimenting so I can help out my students in different ways. So if you don't want to be like me and you want the support of a teacher, if you want the support of someone that is going to be there for you, either in class or outside of class, feel free to get in touch. My details, well, feel free to get in touch either via Instagram or maybe here, leave me a comment. I am more than happy to help. Shoot me an email because I'm, planning to continue to run courses throughout the year, the rest of the year. And hopefully, we can pass that IELTS and pass that PTE so that you can relax and don't be like me, because even though I finished the test, and actually, even if I pass, I still need to study because I want to get the highest level. That's gonna be a tough goal, but there you go. If you either want a bit of extra help or you need a push, or maybe not you, maybe you know someone who wants to pass these exams, feel free to tell them about me. That's probably the best way to support the channel, and it would mean the world to me. Now, in terms of that, I also have to say, basically, thank you, because it is tricky when you are out on the internet and, like I said, not posting too much on social media, but then seeing that people still listen, people still, let's say, care about this. That's incredible. So I also take this episode and I'll take this time as an opportunity to say big thank you. Sometimes you, or let's say I, may not realize the impact this may have on people, and it means a lot because I've had extremely positive feedback from you guys in the past saying, oh, Emilio, I really love that episode, or I love how you explained that, or I truly identify with how, or I really, I really felt the same way this person felt, or I love what this person said in an interview. So I'm planning to have more interviews. I have a really cool interview coming up, but I don't want to give you any spoilers. I just think it's gonna be great. I think the only hint I'll give you is that it is someone that has been in the podcast before, not yet on video though. So I have to, organize the logistics and everything. But I'm really excited. And also, if you think there is a topic that we should cover, because I've been having episodes maybe like instead of once a week, it's been more like every 2 weeks, sometimes 3. So if you feel like there is something we should talk about, just to throw some ideas, or like just to tell you one idea, something that I've thought of, discussing, is this idea of Australia maybe not being as appealing to international students because of what's happening with the visas. This is crazy, the international student visa application going up, a lot of visas getting rejected. And this is just one topic out of many topics that have been, or things that have been happening for these past few months. And like I said, let me know, feel free to get in touch, and I'm open to suggestions, and I would love to know what you think. As I said in the beginning, I wish I could make this episode with a very positive spin, telling you how great I am. Not necessarily that, but how great I am because I killed the dragon again. But not really. This is more a let's see type of thing. And my guess as the test taker, or even as, let's say as the test taker, is that last time, let's say hypothetically speaking, like if I needed, in Venezuela, normally when we get a test, we do from 0 to 20. So I'm gonna use that just, for nostalgia. Let's imagine that I needed minimum 10, right? Probably like the last time when I failed, I got maybe 6 out of 20, which is obviously not a pass. It is not great, but okay, 6 out of 20. So then I had these few months to practice. I get a feeling that this time, if I fail, my score is probably going to be 8 or 9. Let's say more 9, just to give me a bit more credit. So if it is a fail, at least it's like a just fail. Or if it is a pass, it is probably maybe a just pass. Or who knows, maybe I did surprisingly well and I'm just being super tough on myself. I don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. If you are an IELTS learner, maybe you can think about it this way. Maybe I pass all the bands and then I have 0.5 less in a band. Or if you are a PT learner, maybe you can think of it this way. I need, pick any amount. Let's say for example, I need 65, right? Like a lot of people do these days. I need 65, but I get 60 to 64. That's that really painful. It's basically that sign or that score telling you failed, but you almost passed. It's like you're almost there. Something tells me that I'm probably there. And hopefully, let's see, hopefully I'm wrong and then I just passed. Anyways, in the meantime, like I said many times, this is probably like the last time I'll say this. Big thank you for your support. I hope that you enjoyed this episode as much as I am. You should expect more videos coming up, and well, very happy to be in this space with you. If you stayed till the end, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up or like a review here on Spotify or on YouTube. Leave me a comment. If you subscribe to the channel, you will not only support it, but you will also get a higher score in the test. Well, that's not necessarily true, but anyways. Thank you for being with me. Maybe you just relaxed at home, or who knows, maybe you just put me in the background. Maybe you were driving and I went with you to work. Who knows, maybe you were taking public transport. I don't know. Some people just watch or listen to the podcast when they go for a walk. So anyways, I just hope that you had a good time as much as I did. I was part of your day. You're being part of mine. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Miss me. I'll miss you, but I'll see you most likely next week. Take care and bye for now. See ya.